And welcome back to Bianconeri FC. It's been a very long time indeed. Wow, what a video I have for you today. Well, what a morning that was. What a morning that was in Torino today. Now, before we get into this morning's game, now the first leg kind of spoke for itself when pretty much we were chasing the game from the get-go, when Bentancur pretty much gave Porto a goal. In the first minute, made a mistake in the first leg. Into this morning's game, it seemed to be more of the same. Chasing the game. We were basically chasing the game. Just like the first leg. You want your team to push through and to get the vital goals you need to advance through to the next leg. And after that penalty went in, you just kind of gave up, really, to be honest. We had a few opportunities from Morata, header from Morata. Good save by the goalkeeper, though, who was on fire this morning. And props to Porto, they really put out good fight today, and really, to be honest, they looked on fire. And they were the side, especially in the first half, who looked more hungry to get through to the next stage in the quarterfinals. And we paid for our poor start in the first half. Mehi Demiral, our centre back, kind of went in and lunged in into a tackle from behind. And made contact with Taremi's ankle, the striker for Porto, and the referee blew for the whistle for the penalty. And it was Sergio Oliveira who converted the penalty. And you kind of knew from the get-go, from the 19th minute, this wasn't going to be easy. You knew that we'll win for a fight and we'll win for a challenge. And you just knew that we were chasing, like I was saying earlier before. Again, like the first leg, chasing and chasing and chasing. This whole entire, both two legs. And it started very, very, very poorly from us. And in the 19th minute, we paid the price, and Oliveira converted the penalty. And it was then on that we really did have a challenge, as they had an away goal. So there was a pretty poor first half performance from us. Very, very poor indeed. And at the time of watching, I was really thinking, I'm like, do you actually think we're actually gonna try something in the second half? What's Andrea Pirlo gonna do? What is he gonna do in that changing room to fire our players up and to get them back out there in the second half and to will the team on and to get the players fired up? We needed something. We needed something from anyone. We needed something to at least give us some glimmer of hope. Some glimmer of hope to be able to advance through to the quarterfinals. And there was Leonardo Bonucci who sent in a beautiful ball into Chiesa. Federico Chiesa, who converted his opportunity perfectly and placed it in the top right corner. And it was then you knew it was on. It was on in the second half. It was on against Porto. It was on against the Portuguese giants. And you knew from there that it was a fight. It was a challenge. Challenge to the end. And it was in the 54th minute, just before Demiral went up to header the ball. And Marega caught him and tackled him. And just in that exact moment after that, Taremi, the striker himself, had a moment of madness and kicked the ball up. And the referee got his back pocket out and got the red card out of his back pocket and put the red card up and showed it to Mehdi Taremi. And you knew they were down. Porto was down to 10 men. And you knew we had something for us. And in less than 10 minutes, Cuadrado whips in a perfect ball. A stellar ball. Crosses it and whips it in. And guess who gets on the end of it? It's Chiesa again. Heads it perfectly into the top left corner of the net. And you had more glimmer of hope. You had a higher glimmer of hope for us. And you knew from then on, like, Porto's down to 10 men. Chiesa's on fire and has absolutely exploded into life in this game. And you knew from then on, you knew that we just needed one more goal. However, getting into what happened next. Really up after that goal in the 63rd minute. We didn't really create any more creative opportunities, really, to be honest. We had a few from Cristiano, and that was pretty much about it. And it was then extra time finished. And the referee blew his whistle after the 95th minute. And it was then, we were going into added time, the tie was level. And going from the 90th minute into the 105th minute of the first half of the added time, it was in the 102nd minute that Chiesa pulled up. And it was then you knew your star man, our star man for the game, I should say, our star man for the game was out of the game. And you knew from then on it was going to be quite tough. But you always had hope in Cristiano. We always have hope in the Cristiano. However, that wasn't to be. Sergio Oliveira in the 115th minute. Well, what a free kick that was under the wall. And we had Ronaldo, Morata and Rabiot in that wall. And unfortunately, they all jumped up and turned away. And as they turned away, their body opened up. And it kind of went through Ronaldo's legs. And what do? That's really man management from Pirlo, to really jump. You probably didn't really need to be honest. Probably could have put someone in front of the wall laying down, but I guess that wasn't to be. And Porto were up, and they were winning in the tie, and they had another vital away goal that they much needed and probably much deserved in the end, even with 10 men. So, really, to be honest, we kind of thought maybe in the last 5 minutes, can we get 2 goals? But that was quite a tough challenge indeed. Well, it was Adrien Rabiot who did get us up on the night of the game 3-2 ahead. However, though, in the end, it wasn't enough. It truly wasn't enough. And Porto win on away goals on aggregate 4-4, and they go through. And it was at that moment you knew all those heart palpitations that were going through the game like I was this morning as a Juventus fan, wanting to will on the team to score. Pacing around the room I was, trying to will on my team to score. But at the end of the day, it's the players, it's the manager, it's the whole squad and the board. It's everyone that associates themselves with Juventus who are working there. It's their job to get the right infrastructures and the right players in the right positions to get further into the Champions League and advance further through the next stages of the Champions League. And it wasn't to be this morning. It was really, to be honest, Porto were down to 10 men and we really didn't do nothing at all. We really didn't create much opportunities. And in the end, we paid the price and we were knocked again for a second consecutive year out of the round of 16, I should say. Now, questions will be asked of Andrea Pirlo. Questions will be asked, why didn't you start Weston McKennie? Why didn't you start Matthias de Ligt? Questions will be asked about the starting of that lineup. And questions will also be asked of Andrea Pirlo about his future at Juventus. Now, however, when Andrea Agnelli did appoint Andrea Pirlo as the first team Juventus manager this season, we knew, that Pirlo has no managerial experience on his resume at all. And he really, to be honest, we kind of knew that this was going to be a transitional year. But what happens? What happens to Andrea Pirlo's future at Juventus? Well, in my opinion, in answering the question, really, to be honest, I personally think that it is up to the Juventus board and the Juventus management, and more specifically the owner of Juventus, Andrea Agnelli, to make the decision. However, I feel that Fabio Paratici, is the stems from this problem. And those of you who don't know who Fabio Paratici is, he is the chief footballing officer or director of football, as you would call it. And his role is really to overlook transfers and of that nature. And in my opinion, he has been doing a very poor job in recent memory. Signing a player like Aaron Ramsey, who was, done at Arsenal, who came to our team on a free contract, is that really good business, to be honest? I don't think so. And Juventus has needed a change. And not a managerial change. We've already had 3 managerial changes from Massimiliano Allegri, Maurizio Sarri, and now Andrea Pirlo. Well, one would think that the pattern goes that it is not the manager's fault. It is not. Well, not 100%. It is, as I keep saying, Fabio Paratici stems from this problem, and he needs to go. If something does not happen, if something does not change, it will just be a continuous cycle where we are in the same situation as we were the year before and the year before that. And we don't want that as Juventinis, and we don't want that overall for our team and for our fans. Anyways, with that being said, it is the end for us and for the Champions League this season. But other than that, onwards and upwards, fino alla fine and forza Juve!